Hello, thank you for joining me. Today I thought we would work on some background papers for our intuitive journals that we're making. Now, with this one, with this background paper, I'm using Indian inks, and I'm using Liquid Raw, and it's waterproof Indian ink. So once it dries, it's pretty stable. So I thought we'd have a go with these Liquid Raw Indian inks, and it's intuitive, it's really easy. So this is one that I tried. I'm using not watercolor paper, but this is a kind of like a cartridge paper. You can get them, they're quite inexpensive, and they're really nice to use. So this is what we're going to be using. I'm also going to be using a pipette and some cut down old credit cards or store cards that you may have. Now, this is one that I did earlier, and as you can see, it's bled through from what I did before. I'm not worried about that. I think it'll give us a nice bit of coverage. Also, I'm going to be using the gesso, the white gesso, just to diffuse it a little bit afterwards. So first of all, I'm just going to, I've put in, I don't know whether you can see, but in my palette, I've just put a few drops of this one's brown. This is the Indian ink brown with a little bit of water, and I'm just going to pop that on. And as you can see, when you dilute it with water into your palette, you get this really lovely light soft wash. Now, I'm not thinking about this, I'm just putting the marks down on my paper. Now, I'm using my store card on the side excuse me, and I'm also using it flat. So have fun, be expressive, and don't think about it too much, okay? So you will need some paper towel. That's always good to have, just so you can wipe the end of your store card off. Now, I'm going into my brown. I'm using the pipette. I'm just going to suck up a little. That's kind of all I want on that. And I'm just going to make these really lovely marks. It's like when we use our pencils, we're just being expressive and intuitive. If you want a thicker marks, you just put your pipette down. Now, I'm going to use this smaller the smaller store card, and I'm just going to, with a little bit of water, I'm just going to drop that in, just to see what we get really. Now, be as expressive as you want to, be as lyrical as you want to. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to try the blue now. It's quite a strong blue, so I'm just going to, about so much. I didn't get much in there at all, and I'm just going to let that trickle out. Oh, that is glorious, isn't it? I'm just going to use always remember you can put more, take more up, but you can't put it back in the pot. So, and a little bit does go a long way. So we're just, okay. Now, I'd forgotten to get my water, so bear with me. I'm back with my water. You don't need a lot of water in this, but I'm using again my well-worn brush, and just dipping the water, the tip of the brush in the water. I'm just moving the ink about. I quite like the blocks of colour that we're getting. I'm just going to go in with the blue again and just go over where I've put the water. Just playing, really, just seeing what we get. Okay, just cleaning that out. I've just sucked up a little bit of clean water just to get the rest of the ink out. I'll just put the lid on because I know I'm probably gonna knock it over, which will be horrendous. Again, going back in with my store card, I'm just going to make longer gestural marks, going right up to the edge, not worrying about if I go over. And where you've put the marks down originally, I don't know whether the camera can pick it up, but you've got the nice, almost like the trace of what you originally put down, which is lovely. Yeah, and just swipe that across. Now, using the corner of my store card, I'm just scratching in lightly, not too hard, because you don't want to go through your paper. If you want bigger gestural marks, absolutely, but we're making marks. Okay, don't think about this. Maybe you could use the colours that match your mood for when you're painting. I find that's always quite an indication when you're painting what palette colours you use. And when you look back, that's quite interesting to look back. Just going to scrape into and with some clear water, I'm just going to move that round. The ink is really responsive. It's a marvellous medium. It really is. And when you mix it with water, it gives you some really unexpected results, which as painters we're always excited about, aren't we? And just now, you're probably wondering why we're making these background papers, but I find when you're at a bit of an artistic block and you want to do something but you're not quite sure what you want to do, this is always a good way to relax and to free yourself. And then they're not totally going to waste, because these make great pieces for collaging, and I really urge you to do this, because when you're working intuitively, this is another great thing to have in your toolbox, so to speak. This really is fantastic. Now, this is black Indian ink, and like everything, black can enhance, but it can also kill. So be mindful of that. I'm just going to clean my pipette out. I got these pipettes in with the box that I got. It was my birthday recently, and I was brought the whole set of these beautiful inks, but you don't have to go and get the full set. Just get what the colours that speak to you. But they are an investment, because they do last a considerable time. So you might think, oh crikey, Karen, you've put a lot of water on there, but this will give us a good opportunity to actually scrape into our black. So again, making marks. Use your card each and every way you think. There are no wrongs in this. This is purely expressive. Now I'm going to go back in to my palette, because I particularly like the brown. Now I'm going in with the pipette, and I'm just going to take a little bit of the brown, just to give a little bit of balance back into the painting. And again, I'm going to go in. This brown has like a yellow ochre kind of balance to it, and I really like that. I think it does give something. Now, because we're going over some blue, you may pick up some greens come through, which is lovely, which is absolutely glorious. So that's nice when we get that. So keep going until you think, yeah, we've got some nice interesting marks going on here, where we've overlapped and we've kind of building up our layers, which is lovely. So if you want some darker colour, you can activate it by going into your darker colour and just, okay. But I must admit, I do like this brown. I think it's very, very good. Almost gives you like a cave painting colour and feel. It's a lovely earth tone. Right, well, when you think, yep, I've done enough, I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to be very bold. I'm just going to drop some gesso, just blob some gesso. I normally just blob onto the darker areas, Now, as I said before, we can always put more on, but it's really hard to take it off. And with our brush, I'm just now I'm going to use a small, very small little brush and just pick up and just put just little areas. Now if I pick up other colours, not worried about that. Gives us some interest. That's brilliant. But you don't want to cover all your lovely marks that you've made. You just want the gesso just to maybe take out a bit of your black that you've put on. And if you think, no, that's enough, I don't want to put in any more, then just use your paper towel and just pick up your gesso and move it about. Okay, you get some really nice, almost like stone effect. It's a really nice. And then if you want to just splatter with some water just to loosen it up just a touch, absolutely. Okay, now as a final foray, if you want to take your pencil and just run your pencil over your work, yeah, let's do that. And as you can see, I hope the camera's picking it up, my pencil's biting through the gesso where I put the gesso down, and it's leaving some really nice marks throughout it. Now at this stage, don't overwork it, because you'll end up going through your paper, because as I said before, this is a cartridge paper and it's light, so it won't take the punishment and the volume of water that we use when we're watercolour painting. Anyway, I hope you give this a go. Do a few different colours, and then when we come to do our intuitive painting, we'll be using elements of our background papers that we've just painted. So hope to see you again soon. Take care and have a good week. Bye.